What's up, family? I'm DJ King 101 Games here, back again with a brand new video, and I just called myself DJ King 101 Games, and that's not actually my name anymore. So I'm still deciding the new name. But yes, I have finished Jedi Fallen Order, and it is without a shadow of a doubt my favorite Star Wars game of all time, excluding Battlefront 2, because Battlefront 2 is the game I can go back and play. Because I finished the story on that, and then of course Battlefront 2 is not a story game, which is why I was a bit lackluster with the story of that game, to be completely honest. But yes, Jedi Fallen Order is what I want in a Star Wars story. I loved it. I absolutely loved this game. It was super. It was just so. I'm not sure how to describe it really. The story felt authentic. It felt real. It felt like something I could go back and watch, and I loved it. It was insane. The one thing I didn't quite like was the involvement of Grease and Seer, because personally I thought they were slightly redundant as characters. They didn't really do much until the final act of the game. Grease personally did nothing for me. I still like this character. He was very charismatic, very Han Solo-esque. Seer was interesting, but at the same time she was incredibly boring as a character. The main protagonist, Cal Kestis, I really did enjoy his character, and how he developed as a character throughout the game. I thought he was very Luke Skywalker-esque, and it felt like he had a purpose, and that purpose was to rebuild the Jedi Order. And I thought that worked really well. The planets, I have a Christmas. If you watch my Christmas Day upload, which is being uploaded very late, because it's January the 3rd, and I still haven't uploaded that video yet. But I spoke about how I didn't like how repetitive and boring a lot of the planets were, personally. But for example, Zepho. But for example, planets such as Kashyyyk and Bogano-esque. I'm gonna go to Bogano because I did really like Bogano. I thought it was quite a nice, compact planet. But planets such as Kashyyyk and Bogano, I really liked those because every time you went there, it always felt like you were going to something fresh and new. And I really did enjoy it. Dathomir, I thought was a great planet. However, I'm not too keen on the Knight Brothers, just because I think they were slightly OP to fight. I genuinely think they were. I don't know. They're just a bit too overpowered to fight, and they got really frustrating. Because you get swarmed no matter what. Stormtroopers, I love fighting Stormtroopers. The more powerful you got in the game, the more easy they were to kill. Some of the missions were great. Some of the missions were awful, if I'm honest. I really did not like the Zepho missions, because you had to do these stupid puzzles, and then this, that, and the other happened. It was just. It didn't actually feel like you were going anywhere with it. And personally, I'm actually quite disappointed because the game has not offered that much replay value for me. Now I've finished the main story, which was amazing. I will get onto that in a second. Now that I finished the main story, I feel like I'm just gonna go back to this game whenever I want to record a video out of it, really. Which is why I have recorded as much as I can, just because I want to get that much from the game while I still can. I'm going to do a video with Battlefront 2, Jedi Fallen Order, and I'm going to make a massive Star Wars collage video to really celebrate Star Wars. I actually haven't done my Rise of Skywalker review yet, which is still coming, and I can't wait to talk about that film because I loved it. But anyway, back to Jedi Fallen Order. This game really is something special, and I think it's a very good, very compelling Star Wars story that, for me, really did feel like it felt like the Empire saga, the Empire story, which we never got. I love the original trilogy, but in terms of filling those gaps, I feel like that this game really does tell the best Galactic Empire era story compared to some of the stuff we've had things like Rogue One are amazing. I love Rogue One. I thought, but in terms of the Jedi, I think this tells a better story than what Star Wars Rebels tried to tell. And of course, I don't like Star Wars Rebels for many reasons. One, I think it's a bit too childish. Of course, it's a kids show, but for me, it doesn't. I don't feel like it welcomes anything to the full saga. But I digress. That's just my opinion. With Rebels, I really did enjoy the twists and turns this game has. I really did like the second sister, Trilla. I loved the second sister. I thought she was very, very interesting as a character. She brought a lot to the table, and I personally think she was more interesting than her master, Seer. Yeah. I also, before I talk about the story, which I do have a lot to say about on that, I want to get onto my least favorite aspect of this game, and that is literally what I'm about to do here. Not just wall running, but any parkour. I did not like the parkour at all. I thought it was too repetitive, and at some points it was too vague on what they wanted. Whenever they wanted you to climb or wall run, they hid the platforms you were meant to run on too. It was almost like they were laughing. It almost felt like they were teasing you, which for me was very, very, very just annoying to get through. I really did not like the parkour. It made sense because, of course, the Jedi are very athletic, and they can use the Force to do that kind of free running. But I just don't think they brought that much to the table. I thought they were very. I thought the parkour was very clunky. It was easy to fall down. I kept dying so many times on Dathomir, and also on Zepho I kept falling down. And the drop didn't kill me, so I had to run all the way back around just to get to where I was again. It was very, very, very messy in my eyes. I thought it was very. It just kind of took a lot of the fun out of the game for me. But as I say that, I really want to get to the best part of this game, the story. I thought the story was absolutely astonishing. Truly the best Star Wars story I've played in quite a while. It was much better than Battlefront's campaign, Battlefront 2's campaign. I thought Battlefront 2's campaign was okay, but very lackluster. This game tells a true Star Wars story in my eyes. As I mentioned, the second sister, and I thought the second sister was great. The ninth sister was a very fun boss battle. Taron Marcolis, I can't remember how to say his name, which is stupid because I fought him earlier today. I played a lot of this game today. I started on Dathomir, I think. Yeah, I went to Dathomir, and I just did the Night Sister's bidding. I did all of that, and I finished the game. I think the Night Sister boss battle was very fun. However, I did prefer the Taron boss battle just because it felt a lot more like a challenge. And I'm going to get. I recorded the boss battle. I recorded all my boss battles. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to upload them, just as like not Telltale fight scene style, but just as gameplay videos, because I loved it. I absolutely loved the story, the boss battles. The best part of the story for me was probably the surprise inclusion of Darth Vader at the end. Darth Vader is my favorite character in Star Wars. Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, same character, both my favorite. I loved the involved his. It felt very a rewarding ending to be defeating the second sister. Of course, there's no chance you can beat Darth Vader as just an ordinary Jedi Knight. Darth Vader slaughtered Jedi, which is truly. It felt like you were fighting Darth Vader in his prime, and I loved it. It wasn't even a boss battle. I don't think there was even a health bar for Darth Vader. Obviously, you weren't meant to fight him. You weren't meant to beat him in a boss battle. Is this game my biggest thing? The thing I like most about this game is me and my brother. We compare it. this game can be Force Unleashed, but it can be so much more as well. Personally, I think this game is even better than Force Unleashed because not only is the story, while the story isn't as compelling as the Force Unleashed, it brings a lot more to the table. Even if I don't necessarily like some of the things it brings to the table, such as wall running, such as this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? The puzzles, the wall running, the parkour. Even if the Force Unleashed doesn't involve that and it's a hack and slash, this game feels like a hack and slash and a lot more as well. And I really do enjoy. I do enjoy what this game brings to the table, and I think as a Star Wars experience, it was very, very Star Wars-esque. You could easily convince yourself that Cal Kestis was more Luke Skywalker, because while he isn't as powerful as Luke, or to be fair, I'd say he was more powerful than Luke when he first got, when he first became a Jedi and all that. Of course, Luke gets a lot more powerful, but this game really does feel like a Cal Kestis story, but can be told in the eyes of Luke Skywalker as well, because of course, Luke's whole purpose after the end of Return of the Jedi into the sequel trilogy. Okay, that was stupid. Luke's whole purpose at the end of Return of the Jedi and all the sequel trilogy is to rebuild the Jedi Order, and that is exactly what Cal is trying to do in this game, to rebuild the Jedi Order and start again after Order 66, which that I need to talk about. The Order 66 mission, where you play as a young Cal Kestis and you witness Jaro Tapal die, that was by far my favourite mission I've ever played in a Star Wars game. That was my favourite mission. I thought it was so good. It was perfectly written. It was intense. They've reprised the Revenge of the Sith soundtrack, which is... I can't say anything more on that. That is incredible. I love... Revenge of the Sith is my favourite Star Wars film. It always will be. Even if I love The Rise of Skywalker. I did like The Last Jedi. Revenge of the Sith will always be my favourite. And this game really does feel like a love letter to Revenge of the Sith and prequel fans. Because... the double saber, you can get it early on Dathomir, and who from Dathomir was the first to bring in the double-bladed lightsaber back in 1999? I think we both know where I'm going with this. I kind of see that as a direct Easter egg to Darth Maul getting the double-bladed lightsaber on his own planet. Of course, if you don't choose to get the double-bladed lightsaber, you do get it on Ilum, which is actually quite a nice Clone Wars reference, and also sequel trilogy reference, because Ilum ends up becoming Starkiller Base when the First Order take over, carry out what the Empire originally planned, such as extracting all the Kyber crystals from Ilum. I thought Ilum was quite a nice planet, to be honest. It was quite relaxed, and I really liked it. But yeah, I thought Ilum, sorry, the Order 66 mission was amazing. The only complaint I had with the Order 66 mission was it did feature quite a bit much of that parkour, but parkour aspects which I don't like the repetitive wall running, the constant use of having to force, pull, and push stuff. I don't know. For me, that was like a little bit of a letdown, but to be honest, just listening to the Revenge of the Sith soundtrack, the Order 66 soundtrack, that felt amazing. It really felt like... It took me back to the first time I watched Revenge of the Sith. And I watched that massacre of a scene where Order 66 took place. And of course, they actually reused the hologram message sent by Darth Sidious, where he goes execute Order 66. I thought that was so good. The clones, the Jaro Tapal wearing the Republic uniform, I thought it was by far the best mission I've ever played in a Star Wars game. And I do really want the sequel. I really want the sequel. This and Spider-Man 2 are the sequels I really want now. A new Jedi Fallen Order, or a Jedi whatever, a new Star Wars game by Respawn and a new Spider-Man game. If I want anything for Cal's future, I really want him to go to the dark side. I just think it makes sense because, of course, the Jedi are no more. And as horrible as it is to say, Cal's mission has to fail in order for the Star Wars canon so far to really make sense. Because as of A New Hope, Yoda and Obi-Wan are the last Jedi. So it wouldn't make sense for Cal to either live on post well, Battle of Yavin, or it would make much more sense for him to either die or turn to the dark side. And henceforth we have something that could tie in with the sequel trilogy and the 30 years between episodes 6 and 7, where maybe Luke encounters the final Inquisitor, and that Inquisitor is Cal Kestis. I just don't see Cal's story ending happily, because it doesn't make sense. And I want them to kind of tell that story, because they actually hinted, or they didn't really hint, but they had a Force vision, and I recorded this as well, I recorded a lot of this game, of Cal becoming an Inquisitor. And I thought that was amazing, because Star Wars tends to kind of foreshadow things. And spoiler alert for The Rise of Skywalker, I'm just going to put a note in the description. If you haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, turn away now. But The Force Awakens kind of foreshadows Rey being Emperor Palpatine's granddaughter, because you can hear Palpatine scream, and also Rey's fighting style kind of matches the Emperor. And everything along those lines. And this game really, Star Wars has a tendency to foreshadow a lot, and I think they really could do with a great twist such as Cal becoming an Inquisitor. Perhaps Seer dies, or Seer embraces the dark side again, and this time she can't go back from it, so the only way for Cal to kind of pull her out of it is to fight her, but then of course Cal turns to the dark side himself. I'm not sure how to do it, but they could do it, and it would be really cool. I would love it if Cal did turn to the dark side, because it is quite an interesting. It is quite a repeated occurrence throughout the game. The Night Sister was a Jedi. Trilla, who was the second sister, she was a fallen Jedi apprentice. The Sith Lord you have to fight, or the dark side you have to fight on Dathomir. He used to be a Jedi. It is a very recurring theme of fallen Jedi. The title Jedi Fallen Order, it makes sense to kind of keep that theme going. And if the next game isn't exactly Jedi Fallen Order Part 2, whatever it is, and it is following Cal Kestis in a new title, I hope they don't just rehash that title's meaning throughout the game, because the idea of Fallen Jedi really is quite a common occurrence throughout Star Wars. Of course, Kylo Ren turned to the dark side, Darth Vader turned to the dark side, or Anakin turned to the dark side, and then it's redemption. Maybe Cal doesn't redeem himself. Maybe he becomes a Sith and Luke Skywalker has to deal with him, or even Ben Solo, depending on what they do with it. There's so much possibilities for a sequel just because of what this story did, and it's, for me, it's probably one of the best. It leaves more opportunities than for me than the Rise of Skywalker did, because the Rise of Skywalker was meant to end the saga. This game really does feel like the next chapter. Truly something I do hope they continue in game form, because as much as I love Cal, and I would love to see them appear in films, I don't think they should transfer over to films. I think
very nice.
They could do cameos in films, but as main characters, the game is really where they fit. And personally, I think the game really does bring a lot of enjoyment to the table. The lightsaber combat is fun, it's fluent, it's smooth, it really does feel pretty good. I'm going to change my colour because I feel like it. Go green, and then I'll change my material. A lot of the customization, I think, can get a little bit, because you haven't unlocked everything, or at least I haven't unlocked everything. It does feel a bit boring because you go through all these chests and all of these different things, and I don't know. Personally, I'm happy with all the lightsabers. The only thing I would like is a red lightsaber, and also the Inquisitor outfit, because I thought the Inquisitor uniform was just very, very nice and quite tidy, if I'm honest. It felt really smart, and it felt very menacing as well. And of course, Cal isn't an Inquisitor, he's a Jedi, but it would be very fun to just replay things as an Inquisitor. Perhaps they can do that as DLC or something along those lines. But yeah, I thought it'd be very fun to do. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. More Battlefront videos will be coming soon, and also the name change will be dropping. I'm hoping to reveal my new name by end of this month, really. I'm still thinking hard on what new name, because I want to culminate this channel into being gaming and YouTube, gaming and drama. And I'm not talking dramas in Twitter beef between petty YouTubers. I'm talking dramas in performing, acting. Drama the subject, not drama the topic on YouTube. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later, and peace.